Hi folks, we're going to be making this beautiful Czech glass bracelet. This is an easy bracelet. It's a beginner bracelet. My name is Marianne, and this is actually my first video. So let's get started. You're going to need a couple of tools. I like these cutters. Both of these. I cut the wire with this, but I could also cut the wire with this. And then you need some kind of a plier to flatten the crimp bead out. Okay, so we're going to get started. You could also use a flat nose. I have this here too. We're going to use, I'm using 0.38 millimeters of wire. It's a coated wire. You could use whatever you have. You can get away with it thicker, just as long as it goes through the bead and the crimp. So I'm just going to move my board over here. This is my new bead treasure board, and I'm moving it over so that you can see. I don't want to get you dizzy, that's why I'm doing it. It has all these little compartments in it. Let me just move out so you can see it. And so I stuck some of my extra beads up here that I need. And then I started with this really pretty strand. It came like this. It looks like a bracelet, doesn't it? And I just took it apart and took out the beads that I didn't need, and which we're going to do right now. So I'm going to move these over here. And then we also need a heart clasp. So I'm going to get one of them out. And I'm using a toggle. I found these clasps actually at the Tucson Bead Show last year in Arizona, but you can get something like this anywhere. It doesn't have to be a heart. I'm using a heart. It doesn't matter. You can use just a round toggle. So I'm using the two pieces with the bar. When I start this, I need to start with a small bead at the very beginning so that the toggle, the bar part, can go through the main component. So let me cut this open right now. I'm just going to cut this and separate my beads. And there we go. And I'm just going to take out the pieces that I'm not going to use because I don't like to get confused. So I'm not going to use these and this. The rest of the stuff I'm going to use. So I'll just put them over here in this little compartment, and we will continue to work. So the first thing I want to do is I want to take the end of the toggle. It doesn't matter which end we're working with. I'm going to take the heart part of this toggle. So I'm going to take a crimp bead, and I'm going to load it on my wire. And then I'm going to take the end where the loop is on the toggle, and I'm going to fold it in half, but I'm not pinching it. I'm leaving that loop round because I want it to have some movement. If I pinch it, it's not going to move, but I want it to be able to move, you know, with my wrist and everything. So I put my crimp on, and I just want to make sure that my piece that went through is sitting up next to the other piece of wire. So they're sitting kind of flat. This way I can make sure that it's going to stay together. And I'm leaving about 1/4 to 1/8 of an inch of room. And I'm going to gently start to squeeze my clasp. My crimp bead. And as you can see, it's starting to oval. Let me see if I can get that a little bit closer so you can see. And then I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to take my pliers, and I'm going to squeeze it again. And then I'm going to give it a really good squeeze so I know that I've flattened it out. You see that? And it's got my wires snug in there. So I'm just going to give it a little pull to make sure that it's not moving. And then I still have a little bit of movement there, which is what I want. Okay, so now I'm going to turn my piece around, and I have my old one, the one that I previously made, that I'm going to just lay next to me so I can see what the pattern was. But you could do any pattern you want. So remember what I said, I need to put on a small pearl in the beginning because I want it to be able to, the toggle to go on easily when I put it on my wrist. So I'm going to put a pearl on. Then I'm going to put my cute little heart. Then I'm going to put this cloudy bead, which has little facets in it. It's kind of pretty. This one is really pretty. It doesn't look like it from afar, but when you look at it up front, it's like it's like a rose with the copper and everything. And there's a hole right there. Looks like a nut from the side, doesn't it? Then I'm going to put on a pearl. And my pearls came on a strand. There were 4 different sizes. I got them from Michael's. They're called glass pink pearls. And they were in this red wrapper. And there were 4 different sizes. So I'm using 3 sizes on this bracelet. The little ones I just saved for something else. All right, so you see, I started to put this on, and part of my little tab is sticking up. We're going to have to fix that, but we don't have to do it right this second. So now I'm going to put one of these pretty pink pearls on, and they came on a strand also, and I got those from Michael's also, and they're called glass beads pearls, and they're matte light pink faceted glass. Okay. The Czech beads that I used, the whole strand, I got those, you know, you could probably get those from Hobby Lobby, and they have a whole bunch of different styles. So it doesn't have to be this, whatever you would like. Okay, so let's keep going. This is a class Czech component. Let me get this tool out of the way. Push him down. And I'm just using the tip of my wire as if it was a needle. Now I'm going to put another pearl on. Looks like I went with this size. And then I'm going to put this pretty poppy flower on. And I'm push it down. And I don't want to push it all the way down because remember, I got to still take care of that wire. Then I'm going to put another pearl on. Bring it over here so you can see I'm going through the hole. And sometimes with these pearls, because they're on strands, one side is more in and the other side is a little bit more pointier. So if you're only going one way on it, go from the inside. It makes it go on a little bit easier. All right, now my little butterfly. It doesn't matter what direction you go with the butterfly. And I'll push the butterfly down. Now, I'm going to add this pretty heart. Adding the heart. I'll push that down. And I'll just move my piece down a little so that you guys can see it as I'm getting all the pieces together. Now I'm going to add a pearl. And, you know, if you only like little pearls, then just use the little pearls. If you like big pearls, put big pearls on. If you don't want any pearls, don't put any pearls on. I just think that the pearls kind of break it up a little bit and enable you to see all the little components that are on the bracelet. Okay, so I got that. Now it's asking for another pink one. And every single time I make them a little bit different. So you can do that. We're putting on that pretty white and copper flower. Then I'm going to put on this bead. It's got little copper flecks in it. I'll move my piece over. The triangle. And I need a small pearl. Now I've got all my components on. So I have to go back up to that top, and I have to do something about that piece of wire sticking out. I don't want to cut it because it'll be sharp. So I want to try and hide it in some of my beads. So I'm just going to double going through that first pearl. And then I'm going to go through the heart. And I'm going to go through that first white bead. So I hid that piece in there. I'm just going to hold this, and I'm going to push all my beads down. So you see, it's hidden. You can't see it. So now I need to put on the other half of my toggle, which is this piece right here. All right. So let's take a crimp bead, and we're going to load a crimp bead on my wire. Then I'm going to put my other piece of toggle on. And I would like to work with a smaller piece of wire. I've still got about, I don't know, about 10 inches. So I only want to have about 4 inches just because it'll make my life a little bit easier. So I'm just going to cut a piece off, and I'm just throw that on the side. So it's a little easier for me to work with it. Now I'm going to take, let's see if I can bring this up a little closer so you guys can see it. Okay. I'm going to take my toggle, which I put on, and I'm going to go back through that crimp bead, and then I'm going to go through like 2 of the beads. I'm going to go through the pearl, and I'm going to go through this pretty triangle. It's like a coppery color bead. All right. Pulling my work down, and you can use a pair of pliers to do this. And I want to keep in mind that I want to make sure that that other side is not sticking out so that I get hurt. All right. So push my piece down. Now that's still a little bit too much room. I'd like it just a little bit closer. So I'm going to take a pair of pliers. I'm going to hold it in my hand. I'm holding the toggle in my hand. I'm just going to pull it a little bit with the pliers, and that made it tighten up quite a bit. So I'm going to come over here, and I have to flatten that crimp bead out so that this doesn't come apart on me. And you see, I need a little bit of space here. I need this toggle to be able to move. I don't want it to be so tight that it can't move. So I give it a little bit of room, and then I'm going to take my pliers, and I'm going to gently make sure I have that whole crimp bead in my jaws, and I'm going to give it a little squeeze on the crimp. And as you can see, it's starting, that's a good word. It's starting to flatten down. And then I'm going to give it another squeeze. And I flattened it down, but I think I need to do the other side too. So I'm going to twist it over a little bit. And I'm going to take my pliers, get in there, and I'm going to squeeze it really tight. And my toggle can still move around, and that's not moving anywhere. You can pull on it. It's not moving. But now I have to cut this wire because I don't want it to stick me. So I'm going to take these pliers. See how they're angled? And I can get up pretty close to the bead that the wire is coming out of. And I'm going to pull on it with my left hand, and I'm going to snap it with my right hand. Snap, snap. Okay. And I'm done. And see, it has movement. It's not too tight. It's got movement so that the bracelet can move. And there it is. And I could have switched any of these beads around and made it any other design. I could have used some of the other beads that were on that strand. But I didn't. Let me just put them over there. I want to thank you for watching my piece of jewelry, and this is my first video, so I hope that I did a good enough job that that you guys can understand me, and I'm going to try and make some more videos if you like this one. I got some other pretty cool ideas. Thank you. Bye-bye.